Hi guys, Frank here from Build Your Own, and this is my 1994 Chevy Cheyenne C1500 two-wheel drive work truck. I purchased this sweet little truck for $1,100 off of Craigslist, and it has 206,000 miles on it. Here's the really cool thing. Yep, I only paid $1,100 for this truck. I've only had it for a few days, but so far, every time I jump in this truck, it fires right up. Every time, in the morning, any time of day, this truck fires right up. It drives pretty good. It doesn't burn any oil. It doesn't leak any fluids whatsoever. It's been a great truck so far. I'm even running the good gas. Yep, I just put some 92 octane in this truck the other day. Giddy up. So here's the deal. While I have surely fallen in love with this old Chevy truck, and I'm feeling properly country, this truck does have some issues and could use some servicing, no doubt. But we'll talk about that in a minute. The thing is, despite the age of this truck, it's 25 years old. The mileage, yep, it's got 206,000 miles. And the condition, yeah, the paint's really rough, but the body's pretty straight, all things considered. You know, here's the deal. I still want to fix this truck up. I think it's worth fixing up. I think it's worth it. Actually, step one, before I even get to fixing this truck up, is actually taking it into the Chevy dealer and having it all checked out and making sure that there's nothing catastrophically wrong with the truck that would kill the project. But other than that, today what I really want to talk about is I want to talk about the things that are wrong with this truck and what I plan to do with this truck after I get it serviced, after I get some things fixed, after I get some important issues, issues I think are important taken care of. What am I going to do with the truck going forward? So really, in this video, we're just going to document all that I think is wrong with this truck and talk about future plans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can follow along as I fix up this old Chevy truck. Oh, real quick, before I get too far into this video, if you like this old Chevy truck, take a look at the walk-around review I did of it the other day. I'll put a link up in the corner right now. Okay, so I just got done saying, hey, I purchased this truck for $1,100. It starts up really great. It starts up great. It doesn't leak any oil. It doesn't burn any fluids or anything like that. But yet, you know, it's still a 25-year-old truck. It's got 206,000 miles on it. What do I think this truck needs? Let's cover that right now. Like I said a little bit earlier, this truck actually does run great. I purchased it from an attorney who used it to get around while he restored his International Scout. If you actually take a look at that walk-around review video I put a link up to, you can see his International Scout in the background, and I actually pointed out it's actually a sweet truck. While the previous owner took good care of this truck, it still has some issues that need addressing. So let's cover all that I think this old 1994 Chevy Cheyenne C1500 two-wheel drive work truck needs. For starters, there are no reverse lights. I've put this thing in reverse, and those little lights don't light up. There are no lights for reverse. Yeah, that's probably an issue, safety issue, and otherwise. So yeah, there's no reverse lights. Let's start there. There's also no license plate light. Like, you can see that one's missing. The wire's all through there, and it's all crackly and brittle and all that. And this one, yeah, there's one there, but it's all needing some kind of service too. So, yeah, the license plate light, those lights don't work either. You're going to start noticing a theme here. So, these lights here, I think this is called, what, the cargo light or something like that? I don't think that brake light works, and I don't think those reverse lights work. I was backing up into a big window, you know how you do at the shopping center or something like that, and you can see your reflection, and nothing was lighting up back here. So I'm pretty certain that none of the lights up here work either. It's no surprise that this old truck needs some tires. The best looking tire is actually the spare tire. The spare tire looks like it's in really good condition, but these old tires here that are around the rest of this truck, let's look at the rest of them. These old tires, yep, I need new tires for sure. They're going to do for a hot second. I'm not going to replace them just yet. And when I do, I certainly won't replace them at the dealer because I am going to take the truck into the dealer, at least for the very first time. But I certainly won't have them replace the tires. So yeah, the truck certainly needs a set of tires as well. Let's talk about the brakes on this old truck. You know, if I have to panic stop in this truck, it pulls real hard to the right. So yeah, this truck needs some definite attention when it comes to the brake system. I guess I could also use the little rubber boot that covers over this brake pedal because, yeah, it hasn't rained so far, but yeah, when that gets wet and your shoe is wet, that's probably real slippery, and you probably don't want your foot slipping off of the brake pedal. This turn signal switch feels wonky, but it does technically work. I want to replace it, though. I don't really like the way it feels, and yeah, it's probably not super expensive. I'd like to get that replaced. The air conditioning in this C1500 does not work. The previous owner was forthcoming about that. And, you know, it's late in the season, but actually it's going to be super hot this week. So it would be a great week to actually have air conditioning, which this truck does not have. I would certainly, definitely, absolutely like to get the air conditioning fixed. The hood release thing doesn't pull out very well either. You pull it out and the hood doesn't even really pop up. I actually have to use this little pry bar to pry the hood, and then it pops right up. So I suspect that the cable or something for this is probably just old and tired and stretched out, and probably just either needs to be adjusted or replaced. The horn actually doesn't work. There's nothing actually behind the horn. There's no wires. Looks like the wire's been cut. So there's no horn. So that's important. You need a horn every now and again, right? You don't need a horn until you actually need a horn. So yeah, we need to get the horn fixed on this old truck. Oh, let's talk about lighting again. I don't think the interior lights work at all. I've played with that switch that's down there on the other side of the steering wheel for all your exterior and interior lights and changing the dimness and all that. I don't see any lights coming up inside. I would just like to have more lights work on this truck. Because of all the lighting issues with this truck, I actually haven't really driven it at night. I've only really driven it at dusk. But it doesn't seem like the dash lights light up very much either. So I need to get that handled as well. I like to get some bulbs replaced. There's probably several bulbs out. Only looked like one little corner of this whole dashboard was actually lit up. So the dash lights we need to get a look at that as well. Oh, while we're looking at this, let's look at that speedometer. You know, I've noticed it while I've been driving that the speedometer seems a little bit off. It seems a little bit fast. Seems like it's about 5 or 7, maybe sometimes even 10 miles an hour faster than it should be. So I'm sure it's just the cable for the speedometer. So that cable probably needs to be adjusted or replaced or some type of servicing to get that right. Like I was saying earlier, the truck really does run great. The one thing I have noticed is when this engine is cold, when it starts up cold, this truck doesn't seem to have a high idle, and I think that it should. Yes, it idles nice and smoothly, but when it's cold, because it doesn't have a high idle, I think when the engine's cold, there seems to be like a little hesitation or a little stumbling, but it's a little odd. When I let off the gas, I can kind of hear that. But what's odd is when I put my foot back on the gas, I kind of roll back on the gas, there's really no hesitation. The engine seems pretty smooth. Yet, you know, it just seems like probably because of that high idle situation or a lack of it, there seems like just something might be going on with the carburetor, might need some adjustments or something like that. I'm not really sure. I also want to service and flush the cooling system. Do anything that needs, hoses, the radiator, anything like that, flush the system, make sure it's running just the way it should be. Not only do I want to get the brakes serviced, I want to get the brake fluid changed, I want to get the system flushed, get all that working just as it should as well. I'd also like to do a tune-up and an oil change and just all that kind of general maintenance stuff that's probably hasn't been done in quite some time. My only other complaint really is the steering. The steering feels vague. And here's what I mean. Yeah, I know it's a 25-year-old Chevy truck. It never had precision steering to begin with, but it just seems extra vague, extra tired. So there seems to be more play in the steering wheel than it needs to be. So definitely need to get the suspension looked at. I'm sure there's bushings and things like that that are very tired that need to be looked at and changed out. Okay, so that's a pretty long list of problems and issues, and surely the dealer will uncover more. I know that. They usually always do. At that point, I will determine what I will have fixed and what I will do myself. But then, most importantly, I will have a list of everything that needs attention, and since I don't know the history of this truck, that will be very nice. If you really think about it, the list of things I want to do to this old Chevy truck is pretty basic. I'm not trying to restore this truck. I just think since it seems to run so good and the body's straight enough and everything like that, why not fix it up and extend this truck's working lifespan and have a little fun with it? Okay, so we just covered all the stuff that I think is wrong with the truck and all that. Now, let's talk about the things I want to do to this truck. So here are some of the things I want to do to my 1994 Chevy Cheyenne C1500. After getting the vehicle serviced, making sure nothing catastrophically is wrong with it, I want to get some good tires. I got to put some good tires on this truck. I don't know what kind of tires I want, so I'm definitely going to do a video where I'm going to talk about the different types of tires, do some research and all that, so I come up with a smart buying decision when it comes to tires. But in addition to that, I'm going to keep the stock wheels. I actually like them, but I will change out those trim rings. You see how the trim rings are really rusty. So I'll just change out the trim rings, get some new tires on there, and I think the wheels for now will be good. Anyone who knows me knows that I love trucks, and they know that I love lifted trucks. And so that being said, I'm gonna have to lift this truck. I don't plan on doing anything crazy, something modest, 3-inch lift, something like that, nothing silly. Just pick the truck up a little bit, make it a little bit taller, and just have a basic little suspension lift. I'd like to get new tail lights. These tail lights have just seen better days. They are all kinds of oxidized and all that. I'd like to get new tail lights. The bed liner in this truck is really, really nice, but it's missing the bed liner right back here. So I'd like to find some kind of bed liner piece to put right back here on the back of this bed right here, and on the door, and that would be cool as far as the bed's concerned. I would also like to get new bumpers. You can see that these bumpers are black, and that's how I kind of determined that this must be a work truck. But the whole thing is, it's got black bumpers in the back, but then if you come around here to the front, it's got a chrome bumper. But then again, this truck's 25 years old. I don't know if the bumper's been replaced or anything like that, but then it's got the black grille, which I also want to replace. This grille has seen better days for sure, so I want to replace the black grille. That bumper has a big old dent in it, and I don't know if I'm going to do chrome bumpers or black bumpers. What do you think? If you like chrome bumpers or black bumpers, you have an opinion on it, let me know in the comments below. So in addition to getting a new grille, I like to get new like turn signal indicator covers and all that, because they look pretty oxidized. Probably end up getting new lights and all that there. All that. So I want my lighting to be right, if you notice that. I like the lighting. I want my lighting to be right on the truck. And really, I wouldn't mind like maybe getting new trim around here. I definitely want to get the truck buffed out. The guy who had it before said he hadn't washed it in a whole year. So I have washed the truck. It looks a lot better than it did before. But yeah, I want to get it buffed. Yeah, it's not going to look amazing or anything like that, and I don't expect it to. But I'd like to get the detail buff. I like to get the exterior buffed out, and just it'll shine a little bit. I played around with that front fender and door. You can see they have a little bit of shine. But you know what? I haven't buffed in a long time. I'd rather have somebody else do it for me. But we'll certainly document it and see, well, some before and after of this truck. I wouldn't mind getting a new steering wheel either. It could be the same factory standard steering wheel. This steering wheel just feels a little mushy. Just feels a little mushy and a little soft, where it's just been held for too long, too many years over these 25 years. So yeah, I like to get a new steering wheel. That'd be cool. I'm not big on sound systems or anything like that, but I don't know what they call that kind of stereo, but with a cassette thing that's way over here. But all that's got to go. I got to have some kind of modern stereo that I can have some streaming Bluetooth or something. There's only 4 speakers, and that's fine with me, but that has to be, I have to handle that. I got to have some kind of music and be able to have my phone and do all that. So we'll have to do something on the tech side as well. Okay guys, we covered the problems with this old Chevy truck and talked about future plans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can follow along. I'll be taking this old truck into the Chevy dealer next. Until then, thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, informative, or entertaining, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.